Raise your hand if you've ever quit something. I have quit many activities throughout my life, such as ballet, gymnastics, soccer, and swimming. Now think of something you have never even thought of giving up. One thing I haven't quit is musical theater. For me, singing and acting is more than a passion. It's second nature, something I grew up doing. It's a competition. Sometimes you might get the part, but most times you won't. Not getting the part I wanted has taught me to not give up and to be persistent. Even when I want to quit, I should continue if it's what I love. It's difficult. Another thing about theater is that it's also a sport. You may be thinking theater is not a sport. In some ways, you're right. But what is the definition of a sport? According to Google, it's an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. That sounds a lot like the definition of musical theater. Being in a musical or play requires practice, skill, and hard work. I have performed in shows since I was in 3rd grade. Before that, I was always scared to get up in front of a large crowd. Honestly, in some cases, I still am. For me, being on stage in a musical is one thing, but getting up in front of people to do anything else? No way. Even if it were making an announcement at an assembly, it would be distressing. Luckily, musical theater has helped me with that. As a kid, I was very shy around people that I did not know, always too timid to go up and talk to them. Yet after performing on stage most of my life, performing in front of giant crowds of strangers, it's much more manageable. One thing I love about acting is that I do not have to be shy anymore because I'm not myself. I'm someone else playing a whole different character. There's something about performing that soothes me. When I'm in my costume, dancing across the floor, singing to the orchestra, I feel at home. I live for the moment when I first step on stage, adrenaline rushing, and sing the opening song, or as I stare into the bright lights and recite my first line. Being on stage is something I've done as long as I can remember. Whether I'm in the ensemble, dancing to the best songs, singing harmonies, or in the front with a spotlight and a solo, I have relished every moment. The first time I ever got a real role in a show was when I was in 4th grade. My classmates and I performed Annie at my elementary school, and I got the part of Grace, the assistant to Annie's adopted father. I was so excited. Because of that role, I realized that I love acting. Sometimes if you're looking for a passion, it's staring you right in the face. I was lucky, and I found mine quickly. But it is because I have performed ever since I was young that I have the strength to be up here right now. When I was in 7th grade at the end of 2018, I was in Annie again at a theater company called Broadway Method Academy, BMA for short. It was a much more complicated show than the one in 4th grade. Paid professional actors came to play the 5 main parts, and we had 9 performances at the Westport Country Playhouse. I got the role of one of the main orphans, Kate. It was an amazing show. One of my favorite parts was when I got to hold up a fake dead mouse in front of a full-time actor, Clea Blackhurst, who played Miss Hannigan. All of the equity actors were incredibly nice, and I got to meet them and talk to them. It was really cool to be on stage with professionally trained actors, and that has definitely had an enormous impact on me. Also, the theater company got the original dog that played Sandy in the remake of Annie on Broadway to come be in our show. The dog's name was Sunny, and at the end of all the shows we got to take a picture with him. Above all, the best part about it was the fantastic friendships that I made. All of the other actors who played orphans became great friends of mine. It is a very tight group, and I admire each of them. Now, all of us continue to perform at BMA, and we were recently in The Little Mermaid, which was also with professionals and at Westport Country Playhouse. I currently take many dance classes there and do a lot of shows. Most of the people I do the shows with are the orphans from Annie. I have so many memories and jokes with them, and I don't think any of us will be leaving BMA anytime soon. It has become my second home, and during rehearsal season, I'm there at least 5 times a week, every week. And when I'm not there, I'm here at Umpqua, where last year I performed in the spring musical Shrek. It was so much fun to prepare, and ever since rehearsals, I looked forward to the show. After hours and hours of practice, the day had finally come. I woke up that day feeling miserable. I had a very high fever and a terrible cold. Now, I wasn't excited. Instead, I was dreading that I would mess up and make a fool of myself in front of everyone. In between scenes, I would run off stage and get a cough drop, sometimes not even finish it, and have to start chewing it before I had to go back on. I had water that I would drink every second I could because my throat was very dry. While I was singing, I had to swallow continuously. But instead of giving up, I went on stage and walked off, still alive. Even though a whole whole audience was watching, I knew I had to keep my head up and not bring myself down. It's just one show, I told myself. Not much can go wrong in one show. Once my first song was over, I felt much more relaxed. That one song was what I was most scared of, and it went fine. Because of this experience, I have learned to not be so critical of myself. I was so worried that I did terribly that I didn't realize in reality I had done well. Now I am way less harsh on myself, in general, not just in shows. Whenever I mess up, I know that it's just a mistake, and mistakes are human. That experience has taught me that if you're scared for something, just be brave and push through. And in the end, everything turns out fine. Being a young actor has changed my life for the better and hopefully will continue to. I'm not sure if I'll be on the stage professionally as an adult, but I would love to. I cannot tell you what path my life will take, but without having this foundation in acting, I would not be half the person I am today. I would not be the person in school who instinctively sings a song based on 2 words someone says, the kid who knows every line to every Disney song, or starts rapping Hamilton lyrics when we're talking about the founding fathers and humanities. People who know me know it gets really irritating. It has also taught me to be brave when I speak in front of crowds of people, and how to appreciate not always getting the part I want in a show. I can thank the theater for making me who I am, and it's all because I powered through and never gave up on the thing I love. So I want to leave this stage today with this message. If you don't have a passion right now, go out into the world and try new things. Maybe you will find something that you want to pursue throughout your life. And once you do, never give it up.